Welcome to the Let's Talk Basic podcast, where girls talk about everything basic.
Join us as we sit down with a glass of wine and see where the conversation goes.
Kick back,
relax,
and get ready for the ultimate girls' night in.
I'm your host, Joanne.
And I'm Vanessa. Welcome back.
Hey, guys.
To this week's Let's Talk Basic podcast. It's we don't have glasses in our hands today, but we'll just clink. Air clink. We have our special guest today with us. You guys might remember her from one of our previous episodes. It's
CHRISTINA.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being part of this episode this week. So we had CHRISTINA on our Interracial Relationships episode during our season 1, and it was so
well received
that naturally we had to have her back for this week's topic. So continuing from our theme for February, we're doing
love.
And this week we thought it would be appropriate to talk about love languages and how does that impact relationships and just kind of see it in your daily life. So like maybe Vanessa, just like a brief overview, you can kind of tell us what are love languages for those who don't know.
Yeah, so there are a total of 5 different love languages. So I'll kind of go by, there's no particular order, but the first one is active service. So you can imagine that's you doing maybe chores or something, or picking up the groceries for your significant other, things like that, doing things that you think would make them happy and making their lives easier. And then the second one is quality time. So things that you don't actually have to do too many things, like it will just be spending quality time with that person. One-on-one interaction, I think, is really important for these people. The third one is receiving gifts. So buying little things here and there, whether it's on a special day or just because. And then the next one is words of affirmation. So these people really like words of encouragement, whether it's, oh, you look great today, or you're doing such a great job. So always likes to hear that those words of encouragement and things like that. And the very last one is physical touch. So these people really like sitting close to people, touching their arms, kissing, hugging. So that's how they show their love. So those are the 5 different love languages. And I think when you guys first brought this topic forward, I was looking at these and like, which one am I? Like before doing the quiz. Mm-hmm. And I could kind of eliminate the things that I was like, that's definitely not me. But there were a few of them that I'm like, I think I like this one. And so I think, you know, whatever results you get from these, you're probably a hybrid of a few.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you guys want to reveal what yours are?
I think it'd be fun to go around and think, oh, I guess we already know. Well, we could go around and think what we would have thought each one of ours were.
Yeah, that's true.
I definitely, okay, for Joanne, I wouldn't think that you were what you are.
Yeah. Why don't you just say what you would have thought?
I think you're acts of service.
Yeah. Okay, so I will review myself now. Wait, CHRISTINA, what do you think I would have been?
Yeah, acts of service was out there, but I thought you'd be like a hybrid of acts of service and the gift one. I thought you'd be like a hybrid of that. Yeah.
Okay, so every time I do the quiz, all of my scores are very, very close together. Like,
okay.
You're all 5.
Yeah, like their quality time is up by like 1.
Okay.
I think my score was like 7 for quality time and 6 for everything else. But yeah, quality time is always my highest, and words of affirmation is always my lowest, which is a 5. So like really, really close together. And then like every time I do the quiz, the ones in the middle always change. So yeah.
Depends
so I think it is, yeah. So I tell my husband, I'm like, I'm all of them.
Yeah. You have to do it all, honey. Yes.
It's like, just pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay, for CHRISTINA, I would have thought that you are, I think this is what you are, but I would have thought that your words of affirmation.
Interesting.
Don't think you're words of affirmation. I think you're a hybrid of acts of service and quality time.
Interesting.
What are you?
The reveal.
Yeah.
So I'm acts of service by like a very large margin. And words of affirmation is actually my lowest as well. Yeah. And the other three in the middle, they change as well. Like, honestly, because I've taken the quiz a couple times. But yeah, it's definitely acts of service top for me and words of affirmation at the bottom for me.
I can see that. What do you think of me?
I was going to say that you're quality time just because I'm quality time. So purely on that logic.
That's true. Yeah, I would have guessed you were quality time.
Really?
Honestly, yeah.
Thank
for
you.
sure.
I
feel
take
like,
that as a compliment.
Yeah. I feel like you guys are always on like really cute dates and like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to say I'm kind of like Joanne. Oh, we're so similar.
I know. Big surprise, guys.
I think I need all of them too.
Oh.
I definitely like words of affirmation. I don't need. I don't. Yeah, so I don't need that from my partner, but I think I need words of affirmation at work. Does that make sense? I know that that's like a totally different topic.
No, it's the same.
Oh, is it the same?
They have like the love languages. They have them for like different relationships.
Yeah.
So like romantic relationships, work relationships, things like that.
Yeah.
Like, because even like as a manager, right? Like people like to receive recognition in different ways.
Yeah.
Right? So.
And then for me, physical touch is like no. It's like I get really weirded out when people are like a little too close to me.
Yeah.
So I don't like that at all. So,
It's true, because I would never have guessed your physical touch because we barely even like,
I don't like
we
touching people.
hardly hug as friends.
I was gonna say both of you. I would have like
Really?
That would have been. Near
I
the
feel like
bottom,
I'm like
think.
a really big hugger though. Like I like hug. I feel like your group doesn't hug a lot, so I don't.
No, I feel like I'm the hugger in our group.
Yeah.
Like people, there was like one of our guy friends who recently told me like I don't like hugs. So I was like,
Oh.
okay,
Yeah.
noted. Like, but yeah,
Yeah. Like
your
same.
girlfriends,
guess.
like when you see your girlfriends, for example,
Yeah.
do you hug them?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Unless I like just saw you, I don't know. Like if I'm seeing you like
Yeah.
multiple times in a row, probably not.
Like it would
but
weird me out if like we hung out after spin
every
or
week
something.
and I hug you.
I might just stop hanging out with you
That's
all at
true.
once.
And I feel like it's different with girlfriends too, right? Like platonic relationships.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like at least in our group of friends, the romantic relationships, like we're not really like a touchy feely group. I
No.
feel like
Yeah.
when we hang out, like
Yeah.
The number of times I've hugged like people that I wasn't that close to or something. Like number of times I've hugged managers. Like it's just like so unlike me at work, but it's just so like part of me. Like
interesting.
I know. So I try to refrain myself, even with you. Like I'm so used to like hugging people by or whatnot.
Really?
Yeah. So
So
when
you
I,
have to physically stop yourself from hugging
the
me.
number of times I've done that where I would like start hugging you and then you would like give me a face and I'd be like, oh,
That's
high
enough.
five.
That's enough.
Usually a high five. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was friendship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about, in a romantic relationship? Do you guys like physical touch in that aspect?
I'm so moody with that. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm like I need it like all the time. Like my husband will be sitting right next to me and I'll be like, you're not paying enough attention to
Yeah.
me. Like hold my hand. Like put your arm around me. And sometimes I can go like days without it. Like
Yeah.
it's just sometimes I just can't be bothered. Like I'm so up and down with that. I'm very inconsistent.
Yeah. I never really thought that I was physical touch until I started dating my husband. And I'm like, you don't hold my hand enough. Or like whenever we're watching the TV or whatever and we're on opposite sides of the couch, I'm like, no, we're too far.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So I think it is like one of my things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even with like friends, like I like to like put my head on like, people's shoulders and stuff.
Vanessa's worst nightmare.
Oh my god, if you ever did that to me, like not to be like it's not you. It's like not you, but if anyone did that to me, I would feel so I don't even know what I would do. I might flick their head, I might push them away, show them the door.
You would be really weirded out by it for sure.
I don't think I'd be okay with it. But I will say, in a romantic relationship, I'm completely opposite.
Yeah.
You like the physical touch in a romantic
I think so.
Yeah.
Everything that Joanne says, I also do.
Yeah. Stop trying to be like me.
I think we're just very similar.
Yeah.
But like, you know, like when the first time we see each other during the day, it's always a kiss or a hug or something like that. Sitting with each other on the couch, there's no way we're sitting like at the end of the couches. Like it's always together.
Yeah.
I think when we're going out and everything, like holding hands is pretty normal. Like that's I would say in that sense, I think I'm pretty big on the physical touch in a romantic relationship.
I guess that's true. Like we definitely always start our day with like a kiss. Well, I'm dead asleep, but my husband tells me he kisses me. So, and like I guess we do always hold hands when we're walking. So
yeah. But I mean, like you could still be doing that even if that's not your love language. Like, but it's like, how do you? I guess.
But like in my head, it's kind of like, oh, like we go days without touching each other. But I'm like, no, that's obviously not true.
But here's the thing, though. I've definitely seen couples who don't hold hands when they're walking and that are totally okay sitting like far apart. So I've seen that.
I mean, I'm okay sitting like I can as an individual. I'm okay not touching each other.
We must always be connected.
Sometimes I like to do it for fun because I know it bothers me.
See, like I wouldn't consider that a love language then. You're not really. Yeah. If you're doing it to bother him, it's not because you're trying to reach out and communicate love.
That's true. That's true.
I don't know what I am anymore. Okay, so we know that we're definitely not physical touch or words of affirmation. One that we didn't really touch on was receiving gifts, right? So I guess that one's kind of, for all of us, really in the middle.
Yeah, like I do, like I appreciate like physical tokens of love, right? Like they thought of you, so they bought you flowers, or like, I remember when my husband and I first started dating, I was really sick, and then he happened to be in, I don't know, like a store, and he picked me up a DVD back then of like my favorite movie that was like $4. But that like I was so appreciative of things like that. So, and I feel like receiving gifts gets a bad like rep sometimes because it makes you think that person's materialistic or like needs to have you know, gifts all the time. But no, I do think like physically showing somebody like through a gift or some sort of a token or whatever, like I think it's just another way to show that you're pretty thoughtful. So I do like it. Like we get each other birthday gifts and stuff, my husband and I. So yeah.
I think gifts for me, as long as they're well thought out, I really, really like them. Right? Like for me, it's not about the how expensive that gift is or anything like that, but for someone to remember something that I liked when we were window shopping one day, that's pretty cool to me. So things like that, like I think it needs to be well thought out. It can't just be like, what do you want this birthday?
Oh, I hate that.
Why don't you send me your wish list? Then for me, that doesn't really do it.
My family's totally like that, but I hate that in a relationship. Yeah.
I think like kind of what we were saying before, like for me, acts of service and gifts are very interchangeable, and I think it's because it's really about the thought behind it. For sure. Like the fact that somebody's taking time out of their day to think about you and to like try to make it better for you. I think that's the aspect that
it's just it's really thoughtful, and like it shows that they were listening. Like to your point, like if I mentioned something once and like he gets it for me for like a birthday 6 months later, right? So,
or even like sometimes like my husband will pick up flowers or something. Like I never say anything like that.
That is something that your husband definitely does. That I'm like, that's impressive.
That's very impressive.
Because I've seen it multiple times.
Multiple times.
It's so nice.
But like we haven't for.
I know. What did he do, Joanne?
It's usually like a double whammy because he'll like go get flowers when he goes grocery shopping.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah. So it's like the whole acts of service and gifts
Yeah.
combined, and I'm like, no.
You're like, no, touch me.
Yeah.
Now we hug.
Okay, so that was receiving gifts, and then quality time. So that's me, and Joanne as well. And one of the things that I kind of want to tag quality time with receiving gifts is, so my boyfriend and I have now we discussed this, and he's actually purchased my birthday gifts, a Christmas gift, and it's usually a flight or a vacation somewhere. So he asked me, he's like, do you like that? Because, you know, some people could say that, you know, buying a trip might be a cop-out because, you know, just, oh, I don't know what to buy you. Let's just buy a trip and we'll figure it out. For me, because I'm a quality time kind of person, that's really huge for me.
For sure.
Right? Because it is buying a present. So it's receiving gift, because that's something that he thought about and he purchased for, you know, a birthday or Christmas or whatnot. But it's also us carving out some time in our calendars to spend quality time in a different part of the world. So I think for me, that's the best combo.
I think like that, because you have that time where it's like solely for the two of you guys.
Exactly.
Right? I think for me, quality time is really about that intentional time where we both go into it being like, we're not going to look at our phones, we're not going to be watching something else. It's actually like we're both engaged with each other. And I think it's very different than just like spending time together, because I feel like we could be doing stuff together. Oh, this is actually something that comes up a lot in our relationship, where at the end of the day, we probably spent all day together. We like went to go grocery shopping, we like came back, we cleaned the house, like maybe we spent the entire day together. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, we didn't spend any time together.
Yeah, totally. I get
Yeah.
that.
So that was just like you guys going through the day.
Yeah.
For sure.
Going through life.
Yeah.
And not really taking a moment to ask each other and have an actual conversation.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
It's just like you guys doing a task list. And
Yeah.
checking it
Sure,
off,
yeah.
so,
And especially if you live with your significant other. I mean, you see them
Yeah.
every single day, right? Like, you go to bed next to them every single night. But, like, for my husband and I, I'm like, I don't feel like I see you or hang out with you until, like, the weekend. Because we're just so busy during the week with work. Like, we get home really late. So, I'm like, yeah, I see you every day. But we don't really spend any time together until, like, maybe Friday night, depending what time we get home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
And
Yeah.
can I add that it's a great point that you bring up about like living with each other and actually seeing each other. And I think this is one of the reasons why I am okay with not living with my significant other.
for sure.
I think I keep wanting to delay it more and more.
Yeah.
Because I found that you guys know that, you know, he stayed over at my place and for a good 6 months when his house was getting renovated, and I feel like we were falling into a pattern where we were not spending quality time together at all.
Yeah.
Right? And because my place is so small, it's literally a 500 square foot apartment and there's just not a lot of space. And we would come home, we would eat dinner, we would watch, you know, TV, and yeah, I saw you, but we didn't spend any time. So we actively had to get out of the condo. Literally went to Bar Wellington, which is on the same street, and was like, let's just go have a drink there instead of on the couch.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it, but it's different when you're not, because there's so many distractions when you're at home.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You could be like, oh, actually, I'm just gonna go clean, you know, the closet.
Yeah.
Let me do some laundry now.
Yeah.
And let's think about what to eat. You're not actually present with that person.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So I think after that experience for me, living with him in a small space for 6 months made me realize that I actually don't want to move in with him quite yet, because I feel the quality of, although we don't see each other every day, the quality of time that we spend on Friday, Saturday, Sunday is so much more valuable.
For sure, because you have to put the effort into seeing each other,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of just taking for granted that they'll be there, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
something that I actively try to do in my relationship is that every day we have to spend at least a minute having eye contact.
Like,
but like not like straight.
Oh,
Sometimes
not like just staring at each other.
but like even when we're talking with each other, like
Yeah.
we don't stare at each other's eyes, right?
Yeah.
We're not like, we're kind of looking around
Oh,
or
totally.
whatever.
Yeah.
Just naturally.
I'm trying to intentionally do this to you right now. It feels so weird. It
Right?
does.
It's not normal.
Yeah.
But like when you look into somebody's eyes, you start actually like listening to what they're saying and actually communicating in a different way. I read somewhere that strong relationships usually have more eye contact. So I've been intentionally trying to do that more. So like when I feel like we spent an entire day kind of just doing things or watching TV or whatever, and I feel like we haven't actually had any quality time, I'll be like, no, we need to look at each other in the eyes before we turn off the lights.
That's fair. Yeah.
Does it work?
It does work.
say, yeah.
It actually, like, because then he always kind of jokes about it, or like he kind of rolls his eyes and will do it.
Yeah.
But I feel like because then you kind of slow down and you're connected even just for a second, more than you were the entire day. It does help to kind of end it off that
That's
way.
true. That's a good
Yeah.
point.
Okay, and then acts of service. We kind of touched upon that.
Yeah.
So you're really big on it, Christina.
100%. It
Yeah.
is the best way to show me you love me. Like, and I just think in every relationship in my life, honestly. Like
Yeah.
romantic, family, work, like friendships, everything. It's just, yeah, it's all about just like, you are taking the time to do something that might not be super enjoyable, but you're doing it to like ease my burden or make my life easier, or because you want me to not have to do it. Like there's just something so powerful about that for me. So yeah, like I'm very, very big on that. Like coming home and seeing, I don't know, like Mark take out the garbage or something, or the recycling without me asking. Like sometimes, depending on how stressed I am, sometimes I'll actually like cry and be like, that was so nice of you. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, it means a lot to me, I think.
So I guess kind of changing it. So the way that you receive love and the way that you give love could be two different
It
languages.
could be, yeah.
So like you receiving acts of service is how you receive it. Would you say that acts of service is also your main communicating love language?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would communicate love through acts of service as well, just because I know that's what I like. So I think it's easy to just do it back.
Yeah.
But also quality time. Like I'm a big organizer. Like I like plans. Like I like itineraries. So like for me, it's really easy to be like, ooh, like there's a special event going on in Toronto, or you know the Raptors are in town, or I don't know, like there's a concert going on. Like I love planning things like well in advance. Like I'll shoot my husband texts all the time, being like, hey, like book off, 9 months from now because we're going on a date night. Like. So I think that way I also like to communicate it, but quality time, I mean, it's important to me. Quality time, it is important, but it's definitely acts of service receiving more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Interesting.
How about you, V? Would you say that the way that you give is also...
I think I'm a hybrid of quality time and words of affirmation in terms of giving. Because I do really, like, although I love hanging out in, like, a big group of friends, I do, and I don't know if you guys have this as well. We have a big girls chat, right? So yes, we talk every day on that chat, but I also have separate conversation with each and every one of them on the side, right? To make sure, hey, what are you doing? How is work for you? And I also...
But that could be quality time too.
That's fair.
Because you're not saying I love you to them every day to so I don't think it's words of affirmation. Like just talk.
No,
like
but,
quality
like,
time is the time that where you.
But encouragement. Like it doesn't have to be like, I love you, Christina.
You could tell me that more, Vanessa.
Yeah, but like it could be things like they're feeling down at work, or like something's not doing, like something in their family life is not going great, or their relationship. I always try to be like, no, I think you're doing the best you can. So like I will never say like, oh, I love you, or like I don't think things like that. But like I will say like words of encouragement that are like, no, I think you're doing great. You know, take it one step at a time. So like I think that's how I tell people that I care about them. And also I guess asking how they are is maybe quality time, but just kind of like that reassurance that I'm there for them. To me, I think that's words of affirmation. And I think on top of that, I really do like spending quality time, like one-on-one with my friends as well.
For sure.
that's really big for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I haven't spent one-on-one time with that person in a while, I am that type of person that will initiate it.
Like, I guess if your friend is going through a hard time, what is your immediate reaction? I need to go spend time with them. I need to say something to them to reassure them, or I need to get them a gift. I need to help them out with things going on.
I think if my friends are going through something, the first thing I would do is give them a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I don't, is that quality time?
I think it's probably a mix
It
of
could
both,
be,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, quality time and words of affirmation. And like to be fair, that's what I would do too. Like I'd probably reach out via a phone call after.
Yeah.
And then either set something
Follow
up or
up.
like try to, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
What
think
about you, Joanne?
I think for me, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, because I have never done a test about my communicating love language.
We should ask each other
Yeah.
more often, yes.
But I think mine is gifts for giving to people, because every time I don't know, somebody says something, I automatically start collecting, being like, okay, I want to get them this because they want this. Or if somebody's going through a hard time, I immediately think like, oh, should I send them flowers, or like should I order them like food or something, like a food delivery or something like that. Like I care a lot in the gifts that I give to people.
I think it's probably, that could also be acts of service too.
Agreed,
Right?
yeah.
Yes, it is. What were we talking? Like, it's words of affirmation. We said that you were. Did you say-
Gifts.
Oh, gifts. You're receiving.
Yeah.
You're gifting gifts.
Yeah.
As a way to
Communicate your love.
Yeah.
But I also so if you're ordering food or you're sending flowers, I think those are also acts of service, right? So if that person might not be able to make their own food, or if they're feeling sick, do you think?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Like I'm more likely to send them flowers than like
Food.
drive them to the
Okay, got it.
hospital, if that makes sense.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was gonna say, and I think it's definitely like one of our friends' mums passed away recently, and like for me in the immediate, I was just like, oh, like obviously going through some really big stuff right now. Like I'm just gonna make him like a huge casserole, like a couple meals, like so he can just have in his fridge, so he doesn't have to worry about that. Like I think that's more acts of service,
Yeah. Got it.
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I'm not very good at making casserole. It's gonna be-
No, but like, yeah, I think that's where my mind first goes. Like, how can I make life easier for you during this time? Right? Yeah.
I guess
Whereas mine is
because
like, how can I cheer them up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah.
that's interesting because you receive love and you give love.
Pretty much the same
Pretty
way,
much
I'd
the
say.
same.
Yeah, and I think it's, I don't know, I wonder if most people are like that, just in the sense, like, you know what you like, so you just, that's kind of what you put out there as well. And it's probably different as well, like how you give love, like which love language you give to a friend versus like a significant other as well. Like, I think that could be different too. So,
But also, I think if someone's going through, a tough time in their life, right? Spending quality time with them one-on-one might not be something that they would want to do.
But I think it's also just them knowing you're there for them, like
Yeah.
a shoulder to cry on, like call you in the middle of the night or kind of a thing.
Yeah. Interesting. So let's talk about what your significant others fall under. So we talked about ourselves and a little bit of how we treat, our friendship and our relationship differently. So do you want to tell us what your husband is?
Yeah. So my husband is words of affirmation for sure. I mean, he hasn't done this quiz in a really long time since the last time I made him, but
Wait. So
And that was your lowest. That was
Oh no, it causes like honestly quite a bit of conflict, I think, because it's just
We should have left you for last.
yeah. Honestly, do you guys want to go first? We can just go back to stories.
No, it's
after.
too
Okay. Yeah, I think it's definitely my lowest, and from what I remember, acts of service was his lowest. So it's not a good match in that sense at all. So it's just, I feel like it's constant reminders to one another, like, hey, Like, you can pick me up a gift, like, you can whatever, plan a date. But for me, like, nothing will go further than coming home and seeing the dishes done or the vacuuming done or something, right? Like, that will go so much further. But I mean, like, he hates chores. So that's the last thing he'll do. Like, he'd rather just be like, hey, babe, you look great today. You look beautiful today, or whatever, right? So,
And you're like, I don't need that.
yeah, like, for me, I don't know. For me, like, I'm just a very strong believer. Like, talk is cheap, right? So you can say as much as you want, but unless I see the actions behind it, I don't really care, quite frankly. So that's why I think it's so low for me. And then for my husband, though, like, it's just, and I'm so bad at it, right? Like, I never think to praise him. Like, I never think to be like, oh, like, you're looking so handsome today, hun, or like, you know, like, great job on that. I don't know. Like, I don't even know what to say. Like, great job on that, I don't know, work stuff. Like, it's so not natural for me, because for me, my thinking is, why would I say something when I can just show you by making your life easier or planning us a date or whatever? But he's like, I need to hear it every once in a while. That's so true. I know, but like, I catch myself sometimes, and now we're kind of getting better at it. Like, we're still not great at it, honestly, but I catch myself sometimes. We'll just be in the middle of a conversation. I'll be like, oh, wait, hold on, I love you. Okay, like, continue. Because it just, like, it pops into your head. Then I'm like, oh my gosh, if I don't say it now, like, I'm just gonna forget about it. Then I'm gonna go like an entire day without saying it. So
have you seen your relationship change just by you guys being more mindful of each other's love languages?
Honestly, it's been a while since he's taken his test.
Yeah.
So, like,
he might not actually be.
I don't know how intentional he's really being about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for me, I'm a big communicator. Like, I'm not one to really beat around the bush. So, I mean, you tell someone enough times, like, he'll get it done. So, I do think it's changed in the sense, like, he knows obviously how important it is to me now, and I will make it known, like, if I feel like I'm not getting that love language, like, very sternly. So, and he knows, so he'll kind of jump in and help out with the chores, or like, if he knows I'm coming home late or stressed out from work, he'll be like, oh, don't worry about like cleaning tonight, like, I'll do it. So definitely from that sense. And same with me, like I said, like, I just kind of catch myself thinking about it every once in a while. So when it does pop into my head, I'll make sure to say like, I love you, or give him a compliment or something like that. But I do think we both could do better, for sure. Like, I don't think we're by any means like where we need to be with that. But I think for us, it's kind of like our middle ground is quality time, you know? Like, it's not what like fills us the most, but it's something I think we both like and we're both good at doing. So like, he's a great date planner, like, and he'll make sure it's something that I want to do. And like, same with me, like, I think I plan really for his specific tastes and things like that. And we kind of like, we've created these things called like either Christina appreciation weekends or Mark appreciation weekends. So we call them like Ca or Ma weekends. Yeah. So like, once in a while, like, when we feel kind of like our tank running low, we'll just be like, oh, I need a Ca weekend, or I need a Ma weekend, like, plan one for me. So we'll keep that in mind. Yeah, and it's fun for both of us. Like, it is a love language that we both do like receiving and giving. So
what happens on call?
Like, okay, so Christmas was a call day, I guess, not really a weekend. But so the Raptors were in town. We're big Raptors fans, so that was the first thing we did. He knows I love like all Asian food, I guess. So we went out for ramen afterwards, like a late lunch. And then we went to karaoke, just the two of us, because I've been saying, it was so fun because we've been to karaoke with a big group, obviously, but we went to karaoke just the two of us in a room, like, singing to each other. So that was super fun. Something we've been talking about doing for a while.
That's so nice.
And then we always have a Christmas tradition of going for wings and seeing a movie. So we kind of ended the night like that. So it was just really well thought out. It was the entire day we got to spend together, just the two of us. So that was really awesome. And I think the last one I planned for him, I mean, it's been a while, I think, but it usually involves some sort of sports or like craft beer, or if there's a concert in town I know that he really likes.
I need one of those weekends.
Start them.
Someone tell my
Honestly, start them. They're so nice, and it's so tailored to your interests.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, either way, I think that's where we kind of find our common ground, but for sure, like, do I wish he would do more acts of service? For sure. Does he wish I would give more words of affirmation? For sure. So I think that's something we both definitely still need to work on a bit more. But yeah, I think to your point, Joe, it's just about being more mindful of it and kind of remembering to do it, because I think right now we're probably reminding each other more often than we would like to, but I mean, if you don't make it known, like, it's not going to get done, right? So
yeah, I had a friend who like kind of similar situation. Her love language was gifts, and like that was like her husband's like lowest. And she would try to explain like, I want you to get me a gift to show your appreciation, even if it's not anything expensive. Like it's more like the thought of you doing it. And he would just be like, that's so materialistic, and like really like kind of shoot her down for it. Until they did the love languages, and then he read it and he was like, oh, like that's like a new way of looking at it. So he started being more mindful about it, or like intentional, that like every time he wanted to thank her, because his was acts of service, and she was like, that means nothing to me.
I don't care that you took up the garbage.
He would like make her a sandwich or something, and she's like, no. There's like no thought behind it. And like he would start picking up little things, and like I feel like their relationship has dramatically improved after that.
Good.
So it's like really noticeable, I guess, for some where they have very pronounced love languages.
For sure.
And like the whole idea of like a love tank, like that's kind of what the book was talking about, is that everybody has like a love tank, and like if you feed into this love tank with the emotional or love language that you like need to receive, you either like get full or like you get empty.
That's a good point. I remember reading that too, and I thought it was also like, this always stuck with me too. I'm not really good at doing this either, but it's what you're supposed to do, and it makes sense. Like they were saying, because like for me, like I get stressed out, I'm at work really late. Like if I come home and I see that there's all these chores that still haven't been done, like for me, like I get upset, I get frustrated, and it causes conflict or disagreement or arguments for sure. But the book, I think it says, like, instead of being like, oh, like you didn't, I don't know, wash the dishes, like why do I always have to be the one to do it? Like another way to reframe that or rephrase that is like, my tank is running low, like I need more like of whatever, like I need more acts of service to kind of fill my tank, like I'm feeling really low on it right now. So it sounds a lot less accusatory, right? Like it sounds a lot less of an attack and a bit more like, for me, like I need you to give me more love in the way that I can process it, just so I can kind of get back to being full. So that always stuck with me, because I was like, that's a really good way to frame it, so you're not like, you're being a terrible husband or like whatever, right? So,
and I feel like we might not have mentioned this earlier, guys, but the 5 love languages are based on a book.
Oh, yes. Important information.
By Gary Chapman. You can look it up on Amazon.
Did you guys both read it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they have
a while
so many,
ago, but
and there's like a lot of different series on it. Like the basic one is 5 love languages, but then there's also like kind of what we were saying before, like there's 5 love languages for singles, 5 love languages for work relationships, 5 love languages for teens, or like so different ways of understanding it in different contexts of your life. But just wanted to make sure we were all on the same page. That it's based on a book that we're talking about.
Very important.
What about you, Joe? So what is your husband? What?
So he's also quality time.
We're so boring. Go away.
That's good though.
I know.
I'll bring all the drama. That's good though. Oh, that like.
But it's not
like
always like perfect, because it's
sure.
still the aspect of being intentional, right? So like sometimes he would feel like, okay, I'm being like, oh, I'm gonna watch The Bachelor with you. So for him, it's like, I'm spending that time with you, and that's his gift. But for me, I'm like, I'm gonna watch Bachelor anyway, so I don't recognize it, because I don't feel like we're talking or like really connecting during that time.
Also, it's probably because he also wants to watch The Bachelor.
Let's be honest, okay?
He's saying that I'm spending quality time with you. But in reality,
let's
he
be real.
wants to watch it with you.
For sure.
It's like using it as an excuse.
I know. That's kind of good to know though, because for me, it's always been like if only we were the same love language, things would be so much easier. And I make it sound like we have a terrible relationship, but like it's hard sometimes, right? Like communicating in the right way with one another. Like we know we love each other, but how do you show it so the other person feels it the most? And like how is the impact most powerful? But it's kind of good to know, even if you do have the same love language, it doesn't necessarily mean it's much easier. Really.
Like it might be a little bit easier in that you understand like what it is, but like it still doesn't mean that automatically all the time. We're just like, oh,
my tank is so full all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely not overflowing.
Yeah.
I'll just confirm that.
For you? Or?
Well, no, like,
Yeah.
well, my boyfriend is also quality time, so
Yeah.
I think we're both kind of on the same boat. We, like to receive quality time. We also like to, I don't know, like they're just both the same. So it seems like our relationship are on parallels in terms of like what we need and what we give as well. But I can tell you with mine is that because we both like quality time so much, and that's like the highest priority on our relationship, there are days or weeks that he'll tell me, he's like, I spent so much time with you, like, do you really need more? Right? So we spend a lot of quality time together.
Your love tank is too full. It's overflowing.
And it's like, and one of the examples is, well, we were in Portugal back in January, and that was a birthday trip. So we booked that as a birthday trip months in advance, and it was supposed to be the two of us. And then we basically we were just, with a bunch of friends. We were like, oh yeah, come. And then he kind of looked at me afterwards and he's like, are you okay with that? This is your birthday trip because this is our quality time. I looked at him and I'm like, we were just in New York in December. I spent like 5 days with you. I'm okay with kind of splitting it up. So we're aware of the fact that we spend a lot of quality time together. And I think for us, it's maybe reaching out a little bit and not just the two of us and hanging out in groups. So
yeah, that's a good point. Do you guys feel like it could be quality time as well, or considered quality time when you're hanging out in a group?
Yeah.
Or do you feel like it has to be one-on-one?
I think for me, it's more like you could be hanging out in a group, but if you're still having good connection in that situation, I would still consider it quality time. But I'm definitely more like a one-on-one type of person in general. But if I have really good one-on-one conversation in a group setting, that's still
true.
Yeah,
that's good.
I wouldn't say that it's not good quality time, but because there are different people around us, I might divert my attention to my friends.
Yeah, that's true.
So in my mind, when I think of quality time, I really am, and maybe I'm just narrow-minded, it's just one-on-one time.
Yeah, that's kind of how I think of it too. And I think it's because though, like, I get really distracted when there's a big group of friends. Like, I feel like I just play the role of the social butterfly, so you just want to talk to everyone. So like, I just don't do a good job, I guess, of connecting.
And I also think that when we are in a group setting, him and I are not really talking to each other. It's more like we also like to kind of like spread it out and like talk to everyone. So for me, I think it's quality time with my friends.
For sure.
Right? But I don't think it's quality time with him and I one-on-one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? And I also think that when you're spending, especially during the holidays and everything, when you're really constantly doing, parties and like group gatherings, there are times where I'm just like, holy crap, we didn't actually spend any time in December together at all. Right? We were together all of December, but I don't know about you, but did you feel like, wow, like December was kind of like a write-off for me? It was great time, don't get me wrong, like with family and friends, but it was just like, I didn't feel like him and I got any time at all.
Yeah, I guess for me, like, it's the same where you're so busy rushing around, so you have to find like those little moments here and there to like feel connected.
For sure.
So it's like, it doesn't need to be a long time, like kind of like the acts or the gifts, like it doesn't have to be really over the top or extravagant gifts, but it's like those little things. So I felt like it was good because we kind of broke up a few days, like from driving from one party to another, we kind of got like a half an hour to an hour to kind of connect and just talk ourselves.
That's true. And it's not really about the quantity, just about the like how intentional, like you were saying, you make that time.
Yeah.
And then I think also for like I guess a tip, if you can call it that, no matter how busy we are on that in a week or during the month, Sunday breakfast is always a thing.
Like set aside time for you. That's nice.
That is really nice.
Like it's pretty much every single time, like every Sunday we know that we're gonna go out for breakfast. And it might be the diner downstairs or something. that's quality time for us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. We have a monthly date night. Like, it doesn't have to be the weekend. Like, we prefer it to be the weekend, but just like one night a month at least, where we do something, just the two of us, like intentionally go out, whatever it might be. Or it might even be stay in, I guess. But it's just time for just the two of us, because I feel like a month goes by so quickly. And sometimes I do look back and I'm like, I don't feel like we've actually spent any time together.
Yeah.
For sure. I agree.
For your Ka and Maud nights.
Yes. I love talking about this. So yes, please ask.
Do you guys add any like layers of your love languages into it? So like for Ka night, is there any like acts of service component, or like for his nights, do you do more words of affirmation?
I think we do, but like we don't add in layers of the other person's love language. Like you add in layers of your own love language almost. Yeah. So like
you'll clean for him.
Yeah, like I'll be like, or like my husband, honestly, for the past little while, he's taken care of most of the meal prep, which was great. And that's like such a huge part of acts of service for me. So really appreciate that. But I think one of the last maws I planned for him, I did the meal prep.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know how much he recognized that, because that's not his love language. But for me, I did that. And then I think same with on like call weekends, if you will. He's very good at always being more attentive, kind of. So just always being like, oh, you look really beautiful today. I'm like, oh, I really like that sweater. Like, your hair looks great. So things like that. But to me, it just goes right over my head. Yeah. I'm just like, I look great, fine.
I also, I don't know if this is something that you guys experience. I have a really tough time accepting words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Like, I almost make that ugly face that, like, when people touch me, it might, like, obviously physical touch is the worst for me. But, like, I would say words of affirmation, sometimes it's also around there.
Yeah.
Like, for me, when someone tells me I look beautiful, my jaw drops and like, oh, no, I don't.
What are you saying?
I start like deflecting it and feeling kind of self-conscious. Yeah. And I turn really awkward.
I love how all of ours is really low on words of affirmation.
Right? I think that's why
we're we don't have to tell each other nice things.
And don't compliment me.
I know. I think it depends on who the words of affirmation are coming from, honestly. Like, if I know it's coming from somebody who isn't necessarily like a compliment giver, I'm just like, wow, I must really look nice today, or something like that. But yeah, I think my natural is to just like, oh, thank you, like just kind of play it off like a joke.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, totally.
I think I'm really bad at
I actually thought that I was words of affirmation at one point. I don't know why.
I don't think so. Okay.
Like, for example, I feel like I put a lot of thought into my cards, like what I say and stuff.
Yeah, you do.
But then I also think I think about some of the Valentine's cards that I used to give out to friends. And do you guys remember like Happy Bunny? Just because we're in Valentine's, I've been thinking about it recently.
Happy Bunny.
Do you remember Happy Bunny? It's like this like really bitter bunny, like a really bitter rabbit that would say like, you're stupid.
What is this?
It was like
really Valentine's Day.
Are we on topic here still? That's not words of affirmation at all.
And I'm like, I would find it so funny, but I would
It's like, thanks, Jill.
Yeah, but it's like a really cute bunny like smiling at you, like it's all cute, but then it has like some really dark words.
I feel like that would just confuse people. Like, if
No, I have a really good one. I actually remember going to, I don't know if you remember this. So you and I were at Indigo. I think I was at lunch one time.
Yeah.
And I believe we were picking out a card.
Yeah.
It was either, I think we were both going to a wedding that weekend. And we were like, okay, let's just meet at Indigo. We'll get a card there. So we were going through all these cards.
I don't remember this at all.
And then our personalities really showed. Because I picked these cards up and they were like kind of the same, in the same context as your bunny. It's kind of like, hope your marriage lasts.
Yeah.
I would be so confused if I got these cards from like people who are supposed to be my friends. They're like,
So we both picked out these really bad cards. That we were like, these are so good. These are so good. They're so funny. I would love to receive one of these. And then you actually stopped and you thought about who was going to receive it.
Oh,
And then
love languages in action.
yes, really.
So Joanne was smart enough to like, hold on. I think this is funny.
Yeah.
Who's getting married here? And then you thought about the person who's getting married. And he's like, this person would not find it funny at all. So you chose like a really like sappy one. Like it was so gross. But like you were forced to pick that one. And I was like, it just like literally when you were talking about that, it just brought me back to that moment.
Yeah, that's actually a good
That
real
was,
life
like,
example.
That
though.
was me and you in action.
Yeah.
For sure.
We should never be
Never do it.
we were so proud. We were like, oh my god, these are so
They're
good.
so funny. People that open it who have words of affirmation.
Yeah, they're probably heartbroken. Like, why do they hate
What's wrong
me?
with
Oh man.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry, switching gears a little
Yeah.
bit here.
Yeah.
But what love language do you feel your significant others give the best?
So my husband is words of affirmation.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate it because he's so sincere about it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, but I feel like I don't receive it as well as I should. Like, for example,
yeah.
the first time he told me I love you or whatever. Or whatever.
So stupid.
I was just like, kind of like stared at him blankly, and I was like, well, I don't think I'm ready to say that back to you. And like that probably
It's definitely the most terrifying thing to hear.
But in my mind, I was like, I don't know.
I think mine is really good with acts of services.
That's good. Yeah.
He's really
That's good.
That really speaks.
Yeah. Her voice gets all soft.
Oh, what a great boyfriend.
he's
Yeah.
actually I will say he's really good at making my life easier. He does everything to make my life easier. He really does.
Nice.
Like, oh my god, this guy cooks, he cleans, he drives me everywhere. It's great. I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I actually think I'm a lot of these things.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
need that stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
But yeah, I think he's really great at acts of services.
Good. Yeah, and I think just because you're strong in one or one is your primary love language, it doesn't mean the others can all be ignored, right? Because as low as words of affirmation are on my list, like, if I never heard I love you, or if I never heard, a compliment, like, that would still hurt me.
Yeah.
Can I share
For sure.
one act of service that I thought was like, damn, you're going above and beyond right now?
Yes.
So my menstrual cycle happened, and I was staying over at his house, and I literally had 2 tampons left, and I was like trying to calculate how I can.
How long
Yeah.
can you go?
Totally. Go with
Been there.
Yeah, of course.
And he, like, without even thinking about it, he's like, well, I can just go over to that store right there and get you some. Like, it was like without a thought. Like, it was just like him, like he didn't even think it was a problem.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, let me just go get you some. And then, like, I tried, like, cause like that's a weird thing for a guy to buy.
Yeah, or like
so-
at least like volunteer it right off the bat.
Yeah, so
for
he
sure.
would
Not
like
many.
didn't even think about it. He's like offering his active service, and then so I really tried to time when I put one in and take one out, and it lasted until the morning where I'm like, hey, can you get up now?
Yeah, it's time.
Yeah.
And he like did it without any complaints, and I was just like, oh yeah. And then I like even threw in a couple more things for him to buy.
Yay.
So that was a really good one.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I think my husband's really good at quality time, and I think he's really good at giving gifts. Like, he is that person, like
He is
you,
really good.
Joanne. Yeah, it's just things I've apparently mentioned before, or things I don't even realize I really care about or want until I open it.
Yeah.
So I'd say one of my favorite gifts I've ever gotten from him still, I think I mentioned to him once, like probably like on our third date. Like my favorite book, or one of my favorite books growing up, is Peter Pan. Like I love Peter Pan. Yeah. So for one Valentine's Day, I think it was our first Valentine's Day after we got married, and we weren't going to do gifts, honestly, or kind of like little trinkets, like, I don't know, $10 here and there kind of a thing. But he got me like not like a first edition or anything, but he got me the Peter Pan book, but the old school cover, like the one that I grew up reading. And then he got, it's like our love story, like that type of book. So it's like, what's your favorite memory of the other person? Like if you had described your significant other in 5 words, or like, how do you remember your first date? Or, you know, where do you see the future? You know, what are some common interests? So it was like, it was a book, like legitimately like 50 pages or something. And he literally filled every single page. Yeah. So it was just so nice to receive like these 2 books, like both equally thoughtful, and that it was just,
There was words of affirmation.
Yeah.
100%. Yes, of course. There's like subtle hinting towards me. But yeah, he's really good at gifts, I find. I know. I was actually kind of surprised because this year for my birthday, like my birthday just passed, he was like, oh, what do you want for your birthday? And I was just so upset. I was like, I can't believe you asked me that. And he's like,
excuse me?
Yeah. He's like, what do you mean? But like, what do you want? I was like, you never ask me that because you're usually so good at just getting something that's like perfect for me. So I just remember being really upset by that. Being like, I can't believe you asked me what I wanted. Yeah. Like, you don't do that. Yeah. I do that to you. You don't do that to me. Like, that's not how this works. And he's like, oh. But I don't think he realized like how good he was at it. Yeah. I guess once again.
Because there was no
words exactly. Like I never, like, I don't tell him, right? Like you give excellent gifts. I know, it really is. Because I don't think I have ever told him, like, you give really great gifts. I mean, I've told all our friends, I think, that like Mark's a really great gift giver. But I don't think I've ever told him.
Listen to this episode.
Exactly.
I'll send the link.
You're the best. I love you.
At 50 whatever minutes. This is there you.
Just listen to the very end.
Yeah.
Very important. Yeah.
Okay, well, obviously there was a lot to say for love languages. I guess, I don't know, go out and give your love language.
Well, yeah, we'll do the test.
Yeah.
And maybe read the book like these ladies did. And then find out what you are and let us know if you can relate to some of ours. Let us know if this episode will help you maybe better your relationship. I don't know.
For sure.
It's always fun to do, though, these tests.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Christina.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to the Let's Talk Basic podcast. For more exclusive content, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Let's Talk Basic.